Here's something wild that most people either missed completely or are too afraid to bring up. What if Meghan Markle never actually gave birth to her children at all? And no, this isn't just some vague internet rumor, this is coming from her own family. Meghan's father publicly claimed that she had her eggs frozen years ago, and her brother allegedly backed that up, adding that she later had a hysterectomy. And here's the kicker, all of this supposedly happened while she was still married to Trevor Engelson, long before Prince Harry ever entered the picture. If true, that flips the entire royal fairytale narrative on its head. And the deeper you dig, the messier the story becomes. Because it's not just about frozen eggs, the real issue is the mounting evidence that she may have never been pregnant, period. According to multiple sources, Meghan was reportedly unable to afford long-term egg storage. The cost for preserving them can range anywhere from $8,000 to $9,000 a month, and this was before she had royal money or global fame. Even her father said, "She's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter used to be more giving, more loving." And if the financial rumors are true, Meghan likely couldn't sustain the cost of storing those eggs back then. We're talking about someone who, by insider accounts, earned roughly $7,000 per episode on Suits. And even then, her screen time was minimal. She reportedly appeared in about 138 total minutes across 108 episodes. That's blink and you miss it levels of presence. Now imagine this, she allegedly loses access to her frozen eggs, undergoes a hysterectomy, and still ends up appearing years later with 2 children the world is told are biologically hers. Is it really any wonder why people are skeptical? And it's not just gossip. People have been dissecting Meghan's entire motherhood story like a cold case. There's very little real footage of her displaying natural affection with her kids, no candid hugs, no chaotic mom moments, none of the rawness most mothers show in public. Instead, every time we see the children, they appear oddly reserved, like props in a photo shoot rather than actual family members. Some observers have even pointed out that the little girl spotted with Meghan at Disneyland one day didn't appear to be the same child seen the next day in a different outfit. Are we seriously seeing different children being used in public appearances? And then there's the infamous moon bump clip. Meghan walking around during the pandemic, in a hospital, no less, with what many claim was an obviously fake pregnancy belly. This wasn't just suspicious, it could have been a breach of strict COVID-era medical protocols. Hospital maternity wards had the tightest regulations at the time, nobody could just walk in, let alone stage a photo shoot with a camera crew. Then there's how Meghan behaves when her children are brought up in interviews. Her responses often feel flat, even strangely detached, like she's performing the role of a mother rather than actually being one. It doesn't come off as hatred, it comes off as emotional distance, and people notice that. Even her own family noticed. Let's not downplay the significance here, this isn't some troll online throwing shade. This is Meghan's father going on record saying she had her eggs removed and frozen. This is her brother claiming she had a hysterectomy after that. These aren't minor family squabbles, they're bombshell claims that, if true, fundamentally shatter the entire story of her biological motherhood. And yet, the mainstream media avoids it. They don't ask questions. They don't probe. It's like everyone agreed to silently gloss over the single biggest mystery in the Meghan Markle saga. If she truly couldn't have children, then where did Archie and Lilibet come from? What makes this even more complicated is how Meghan and Harry play the role of the perfect parents while dodging any real transparency. Whenever their kids are mentioned, the response is either overly polished or oddly vague. There are no raw birth photos, no candid hospital snaps, just carefully curated, stylized images that feel more like PR material than authentic family memories. Another weird red flag? There were no hospital confirmations. No doctors speaking publicly. Not even a random paparazzi shot of Meghan in the later stages of pregnancy, which, for a couple constantly in the spotlight, is almost statistically impossible. And then we come back to the moon bump controversy, where her baby bump appears to shift and fold unnaturally when she bends down. Not just awkward camera angle weird, but prop department error weird. People have broken down that footage frame by frame, and what they found doesn't look like a pregnant belly. It looks like padding. Now, if she used a surrogate and chose to keep that private? Fine. That's her choice. But if there was active deception, pretending to be pregnant when she wasn't, that changes everything. It's not just about personal privacy anymore. It becomes a question of honesty, credibility, and public trust. Then there's the whole mess around the kids' birth certificates. At one point, it was reported that Meghan had her royal title removed from the documents and then added back later. That's not standard practice. And in the United States, royal titles aren't legally recognized names. Yet somehow, Archie and Lilibet's paperwork included those titles. Insiders even claimed U.S. immigration officials were confused and allegedly reached out to King Charles for clarification. That doesn't happen unless something seriously off-book is going on. And let's be clear, Harry is no passive bystander in all of this. He's leaned right into the performance. Smiling for cameras, promoting the royal family but not lifestyle, and even pushing for HRH titles for the kids. And yes, that stirred up massive behind-the-scenes controversy. Reports say Queen Elizabeth made it very clear before her death, no HRH titles for those who step back from royal duties. But Harry tried to force the issue, and multiple sources say Charles eventually caved. The man who was supposed to restore the monarchy's credibility gave in and handed out royal titles like party favors. But step back for a moment, why would Meghan go to such great lengths? Some argue it's about preserving her brand, others say it's about carving out permanent influence. But one theory stands out: having children with royal lineage, especially ones with official titles, locks her into the institution forever. Not in name, but in power. It's leverage. It's long-term value. If the public believes the children are biologically hers, then the truth almost doesn't matter. But cracks keep forming. In one video, Meghan holds a toddler like she's never interacted with a small child before. No eye contact, no gentle gestures, just rigid arms and distant posture. The kids always seem handled by someone else, a nanny, an assistant, always nearby, always steering the scene like it's a production. People aren't blind. They notice. They see the inconsistencies. The weird body language. The lack of genuine emotion. And the question keeps echoing louder. If these kids aren't biologically Meghan's, and if the palace knows that, then why is everyone pretending everything is normal? Is it fear? Shame? Or is it something deeper, something we haven't even begun to uncover?